So that was the end of, I guess, episode 4. So we're doing 5 now. I'm feeling like I'm on a roll now. So I'm just going to keep going. Um, but the bottom line is, she, the truth is, she was in love with me. The truth is, even though she thought it was sucker love, she also found me fascinating. I'm a very smart individual. I solve my own problems. Um, there were things I wanted to do, concepts I wanted to that I bounced off of her, and we talked about, like, starting businesses and things of that nature. She had a great idea to start a business, buying old trailers and refurbishing them and selling them. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I told her to go for it. I said it was during COVID. She really didn't want to work. I was making great money. I said, you know what? This is as good a time as any. Why don't you try and start that business up? So she was out of work for a whole year, and I told her when she ran into a obstacle to let me know. Because she wanted to spearhead it. She wanted it to be her baby. And I said, okay, well, you do it. You do it yourself. If you run into an obstacle you can't get past, you come to me and we'll figure it out together. You know what I mean? What more can you ask for, right? But then, she probably, let me say it lasted maybe 6 or 7 good weeks, maybe 2 months. We'll give her 2 months. 2 months she was actively, I believe, doing it, or at least actively making me think that she was doing it. But now she didn't have any, she didn't have to bring in any money. She had all this free time. If she needed money, she could just get it from me. And I think that's when she really, that freedom, like the happiest she was in our entire marriage was that year she didn't have to work. And I'm pretty convinced that the reason why she was so happy is because she had me and all the side supply she wanted. She didn't have to be any place in any particular time. A certain amount of money didn't have to show up in the account because she was working. I mean, she was just free to explore our new environment in an energetic way. And and I know for certain that's what she was doing. Um, so she was happy because I mean, I'm fully simped, you know what I'm saying? And but I think also what ended up happening is that the warlock was getting jealous because he might have been getting just enough supply, just a little bit of her, just a little bit more from her, but he wanted the whole thing. He wanted her to come home to him. So I think that's when the attacks on me started. So the attacks on me started, and it's important to mention how they coordinate these attacks. So what they do is they attack your houses. So if you have I'm a Leo, so they did a chart on me, and there's 7, like the chakras are the houses. Like you look this stuff up if you're interested in the details, but basically they attacked my money house. They tried to attack my third eye, so I couldn't energetically see what they were doing. I couldn't um, use my heightened intuition, um, so they could run amok. So he was actually, I believe, casting spells on her as well as me. But you have to, I can't, oh, you should let her back into your life because, she was under witch. No, no, she chose to be under witchcraft. She knew what this guy was because she knew this guy before she met me. When she met me, she had broken away from him. 12 years later, he had convinced her that he was living high, when he wasn't. I mean, he told me the truth. He told me, he was barely covering the rent and he didn't have any money and da da da. But he was telling her something different because I believe he sells narcotics. He wanted her to come back in because she was good for grifts. So basically, like, what was he offering her? He was offering her a polyamorous relationship. In other words, she could come be with him, and she could, they would bring other guys into the house who would live there, other girls into the house who would live there. He was renting a 5-bedroom house. So now you got 6 people living in there. It's less than $1,000 a piece, right? Way less, right? So I mean, you get $1,000 out of everybody. Now you making $2,000 a month, right? So $3,000 a month, whatever it comes out to. So the point is that he brought all of these people in the house. This is house booty, right? You in the house, you house booty, right? So she's sleeping with him. She's sleeping with these 2 other guys. And you have to understand that they practice sex magic. This is coven sex magic. So when you have an orgasm, that's energy. Everything is energy, right? So when she has an orgasm, she could think of me and think of binding me. So this is how they practice magic. But apparently the rules of engagement are, as long as they're in the house, um, you know, and I know who you're sleeping with, that's okay. But if you have somebody outside of the house that you sleep with, that's cheating. So, but of course, energetically, they both were cheating. So even though they had all the supply in the house that they could possibly want, they had to have something on the side. They had to have something secret, right? Right. So that's what they had. I mean, in the beginning parts of our separation, when she abandoned our separation, it wasn't separation. She abandoned me. Um, so going back to me being incarcerated and the white guy with the swastika with the Mexican wife, like they were, the Mexican wife was going to bail me out on Saturday. She was going to bail me out of her own pocket, and she was going to trust me to pay her back, and I, of course, would have, and everything. But just to give you an idea that basically I was getting myself out of jail. That's how magnetic a person I am. I had like the COs when she called. I was lucky enough that every time that she called, the COs that were on duty were black. And they told me don't ever call her when a white CO was on there, because he said he erased those recordings, those phone recordings. He said, because if they get a hold of those, they'll jam you up with it. They'll lock you up in here forever, which is what she was trying to do. So that's important to mention. So she actually came to get me on a Friday, unexpected, and it's because of a counselor that sent her an email and said that I had negotiated with the judge and lowered my bond from $5,000 to $500, and that she would effectively be a total POS, piece of shit, if she didn't come to get me. And she showed up on a Friday and picked me up. And on the ride home, she told me how she's already moved her stuff from the apartment. I was inconsolable. She dropped me off at the apartment. She walked up to the apartment with me, but she said she left her phone. I went to use the bathroom, and that's the last time I saw her. She never came back after she lied to me and told me she was going to the car to get her phone. I did speak to her the next day, but it's important to mention too that the person that was driving me home was probably one of the entities that still was in love with me. And the one I spoke to, because the next day she was flying home, she told me there's something involving her son or whatever, but that's probably a lie. She was flying back to Philly to give somebody some ass. That's what she was doing. Because I believe she actually sells pussy. So if somebody pays for a plane ticket and flies her out, gives her a couple of dollars, she'll fly to you and give you some pussy. And she was doing that in the entire marriage. And I'm going to end right there because I don't want to make these too long. I see I'm running long. So I'm going to end this episode, and I hope you'll join me for the next.